Now, I just like to start this off with one thing. This isn't a be-all, tell-all kind of list. This is just my personal opinion, and frankly, I'd like to hear about the films that you think should be on the list. Because, in all honesty, they're just movies, and everyone has their own tastes. These are mine. This is my top 10 greatest superhero movies to date. Number 10.
From director Sam Raimi, Darkman. Who?
Since Batman and the Shadow had already been taken, Sam Raimi decided to make up his own superhero for his first studio picture. And he did a damn good job at it. And while it's more of a tribute to the Universal monster movies, Darkman follows Liam Neeson, who plays a scientist trying to develop synthetic skin for acid burn victims. Until some mobsters come in and screw shit up, and he himself becomes a burn victim. Doctors sever Liam Neeson's nerves and he doesn't feel pain any longer, and with that gains enhanced strength, and he becomes mentally unstable as well. This movie is one of those few original superhero movies that really leave an impression on me. Watch it if you get the chance. Number 9.
Superman, the movie.
Growing up, the only things I knew about superheroes were all about Superman. My parents showed me the movie and I was hooked. The first movie is fantastic. With Marlon Brando playing Jor-El and Gene Hackman playing Lex Luthor, the supporting cast is all the movie really needs to keep the film interesting. And it's really set as 3 different types of movies anyway. The Shakespearean play in Krypton, the coming-of-age movie in Smallville, and the city romance in Metropolis. Originally, the film was a 500-page script, and so that script was turned into 2 movies, and that's where Superman 2 came from. Mario Puzo, who wrote the Godfather books and eventually the movie, really had his work cut out for him on this one. It's a great film with an even amount of drama, action, and suspense, and it should be in anyone's library of movies. Number 8.
I bashed the devil's foot and felt how awful goodness is.
I had seen this film recently, and I had heard much praise about it for a long time. But I never really did get to see it until a few months ago, and holy crap, this movie is a great film, all in all. I don't even know if it's based off of a comic book, but as a standalone film, it really made an impression on me. It's the story of a rock musician who happens to be killed by some thugs on a Halloween night and ends up getting resurrected to avenge his loved one and bring justice. It's a well-directed film, and Brandon Lee really kills it once he's become the Crow. I definitely recommend this to everyone, as this film is a blast the whole way through. Number 7.
Blade 2.
For some reason, out of all 3 movies, Blade 2 really has plastered itself into my brain permanently. Maybe because Guillermo del Toro was directing and really made the film a scary experience as well as an exciting one. The creatures known as carriers in the film are seemingly based on Del Toro's own version of a vampire. I think he even plans on making a vampire film just about his version of the blood-sucking demons of the night. But anyway, Blade 2 has enough enjoyment for me. Great action, visual and special effects, and a story that's not too hard to follow. Get the whole trilogy, but be sure to see this one.
Ooh, so exciting.
Number 6. You have to admit, a lot of what Sean Connery does is awesome. This is no exception. I think the film wasn't really received well by critics, but I think this movie is one of those films that really will reach cult status down the road. I mean, come on. It's like the Avengers for literary characters. You have Alan Quatermain, the adventurer, Dorian Gray, the immortal, the Invisible Man, Captain Nemo from Mysterious Island, Mina Harker, the vampire, Jekyll and Hyde, and Tom Sawyer. And they all come together to fight evil. You can't tell me that's not awesome. As a superhero film, it really delivers, and it's pretty original. Maybe it doesn't work so well for some people, but this deserves number 6 at being one of the better superhero team-ups of the past decade.
That was naughty.
Number 5. I literally got the DVD of this film the first day it came out. I love this film. Del Toro really has a way with creating monsters and really making a PG-13 movie more frightening than any R-rated slasher fest ever could be. Aside from the fact that it's scary, it's also a really well done movie about a hero who wants to fit in. On top of that, the action is great, and the film genuinely makes you care about Hellboy, Liz, Abe, and Myers, and their relationship to each other. Once again, another team-up of a superhero movie that doesn't pull any punches for the kids.
Oh well, let me go in and say hi.
Number 4. There was a time when Batman wasn't really as awesome as he is now. Thanks, Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher. Enter Christopher Nolan, the mainstream Hitchcock of our time. He decided to take on this reimagining, if you will, and bring back the dark seriousness of the character that I only saw in the animated series. And frankly, Nolan took that and projected it onto the big screen. Finally, a Batman film that actually felt like a proper Batman film. Keep in mind that Batman isn't an assassin, but more of a detective, and they kept that detective in the film just enough to feel like he's solving the crimes in the movie, as well as kicking some serious ass. Plus, Liam Neeson. That is all. Number 3. In a time when we all wish we could fly over to the Middle East and find the terrorists ourselves, Iron Man was perfect timing for many of us. This film earns number 3 because of how much you really grow to like such a narcissistic person over the course of the movie. Stark vows to rid the world of the horrors that he helped create in war, and doing so he becomes a true hero. Maybe not a true hero, but an Avenger, so to speak. Plus, this is the first movie in which Marvel took over and said, hey, this is what we would do with this movie, except we're doing it right now. The film arguably became one of the best blockbusters of 2008, and Robert Downey Jr. made one of the biggest comebacks in cinema history. Jon Favreau does a great job of bringing humor into the life of a merchant of death, as they put it in the movie, and the action following the humor is spectacular, following all the bells and whistles that flow through the Iron Man suit. This movie is just a great fun ride that will keep you watching for a very, very long time.
Is it too much to ask for both?
Number 2. I don't understand why people don't like this film. It's freaking awesome. The movie is well thought out and the direction is very spot on, along with the fact that future supervillain Magneto, played by Michael Fassbender, is the central character, and the one you seem to be rooting for the whole way through. How many times has a movie done that? I can't think of any off the top of my head. Plus, the relationship between Eric and Charles is just something you end up caring so much about through the whole movie. You realize how close they were before their own beliefs and upbringing separate them. Not really sure who's misguided and who is being reasonable. The action in this movie really showcases some impressive effects and superpowers, and it's just much better than most of the X-Men movies that have come out to date. All the while, Kevin Bacon plays a fantastic villain that you love to hate. First Class is a good start into getting the forgiveness from the X-Men fans out there who have lost faith since X-Men 3. It's a must-see for anyone up for a compelling story about two best friends separated by beliefs. And the number 1 greatest superhero movie to date. I have to admit, I wasn't always a Marvel geek. Not until the day I saw the first Spider-Man in theaters, it literally blew me away. And I finally felt like I should learn more about him. So I did. Enter Spider-Man 2, the greatest superhero film ever made. Why? The thing about Spider-Man is that he's not a billionaire or a superpowered mutant or alien. He's a kid just like me or anyone else you know, who made a promise to a dying loved one that he would take responsibility with the power he had gained from a radioactive spider. Okay, maybe it wasn't that specific, but you get the idea. Spider-Man 2 deserves this title because it really shows you a sort of realistic side of an average person who tries to live a double life as a superhero. And you really understand him the whole way through. Because that could be you failing in class, or late for work, or losing the woman of your dreams. On top of that, you have Doc Ock, played by Satipo, who wants to force the world to use his unlimited energy resource thanks to the mechanical tentacles on his back built to harness the energy. The action is by far some of the best I've seen in movies these recent years, and Sam Raimi should honestly be proud of what he's achieved with this film. It's a masterful story about an average kid with superpowers trying to balance his double life in order to protect the innocent and still make it home for dinner. That's it for the top 10 greatest superhero movies to date. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's one of the first ever that I've ever done, and I'm hoping to do more in the future. So please leave a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Tell me how I did, and what other top 10 lists should I do next, and give me your top 10 greatest superhero movies of all time. Until then, Matt Costa, out.